everybody. My name is Anna Picari, and this is my book, Lives Intertwined. It's told in a four-person point of view, one adult, two teenage boys, and a preteen girl. I'm going to just read the adult's beginning. It's at the prologue, so it might be easier just to follow if I just start there. Kim. Matthew and I met when I was in graduate school, finishing up my Master's of Social Work at Temple University. I was walking through the courtyard near the Philly famous bell tower on a glorious September day. The sky was light blue, and for a minute, I somehow managed to forget that I was in the middle of an enormous city. Just as I made a plan to head to Fairmount Park to enjoy one of the walking paths, I stumbled. I floundered a bit, nearly tripping on a ladder upon which a man stood working on the sound system for an upcoming speaking engagement. I looked up at the same time that he looked down. I was waiting for a justified chiding, "Hey lady, watch where you're going," but instead he descended the ladder, tilted his head, and looked at me the way a dog looks at his owner when he's trying to decipher their human curious words. He was a slightly above average looking guy with a more than decent height, but he examined me with the most beautiful green eyes. I don't know where I found the guts, but I asked him if he wanted to get a cup of coffee. "You have to tell me your name first," was his reply. "Kim," I said, meeting his gaze. "What's yours?" He smiled, and it was magic. Matthew. We made plans for later that afternoon and met at a local Starbucks. I learned that he was a newbie electrical engineer, an only child like me, and that he was from Newtown, Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philadelphia. He loved the Phillies and the Eagles as much as I did. He shared that his mom called him Matty. I thought that nickname was cute, but I didn't want to promote any edible feelings, so I'd be sure to stick with Matthew or Matt. I decided this as though I already knew we would see each other again. He was one of the most engaged human beings I'd ever spoken to. By the time the baristas were closing up that night, I knew that Matt was someone I wanted in my life. If not for a serious relationship, then absolutely as a friend. But I quickly decided that I shouldn't try to place him in the friend category. I admit to having many one-nighters, sue me for using sex as stress relief, as well as 3 longish relationships, which ranged from 4 months to a year and a half. But I felt a real spark of connection with this handsome ladder climber. Apparently, he felt the same way. He asked if he could make me dinner the next night, and I almost laughed. This was a first for me. No one had ever made me dinner. It was an intimate gesture, right? Needless to say, I was very attracted to Matthew. He was self-assured and easy on the eyes, so I said yes. He texted me his address, and I was relieved when he confirmed that he didn't live with his parents. I arrived at his apartment, which was in the heart of South Philly, promptly at 7, and Matthew opened the door holding a long spatula. He looked adorable in a vintage Doors t-shirt and jeans. I mean, he looked amazing in those pants. My mind raced to envision him out of them, but I quickly regrouped, scolding myself. Matthew offered me something to drink, and I asked if he had wine. He poured us both the glass. "I hope you like hamburgers," he said as he handed me my glass. "Oh, I'm vegan." Matt's face turned beet red, but he exhaled loudly when I laughed and rushed to tell him that I really loved burgers. I remember 3 things from that night. 1, I was with a good man, a solid man. 2, the man could grill a burger. And 3, when I looked into his eyes right before our first kiss, I felt seen and understood. For example, when we chatted about our parents, Matthew immediately chimed in about the importance of family, which is a good thing because being an only child, I was very tight with my mom and dad. After that night, we were inseparable. I moved in with Matt 5 months later. A year later, we were engaged. Our wedding was held at the Sacred Heart of Jesus Catholic Church. Although I no longer consider myself Catholic, this was important to Matthew's family and to my parents, who consider themselves very Catholic. The wedding was intimate, around 50 people. We only wanted people we knew that would be in our lives for the long haul. My closest friend, Kana, served as my matron of honor, and Matt's best friend, Greg, served as the best man. After our honeymoon in Italy, we settled into the house we purchased, a fixer-upper. While painting or laying tiles, we would chat about how many children we wanted and what they would look like. One late afternoon, after a full Saturday of painting, we lay down on the floor in our living room looking at the freshly painted ceiling, our bodies parallel but our hands touching. I said, "Oh, so Orsetti, this is our home. This is our home," Matt repeated as he squeezed my hand. "And there is no one else I'd rather home with than you." I rolled onto my side and admired my handsome husband, picturing family dinners and growing old together. Little did I know, the universe had vastly different plans for us. I hope you liked it.